People love Cava, so why would a producer stop calling their wine Cava on purpose? We're going to discuss that and a lot more on today's episode. This is episode 2 of 3 in our Best Bang for Your Buck Bubbles Challenge. Let's hope it's not a waste.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast dedicated to helping you discover great wines at a great value for every occasion. Hey everyone, I'm Aaron, and this is the best damn wine show out there, and as always, I am joined by Colin and Joel, and as Joel mentioned, we are back for the Best Bang for Your Buck Bubbles Challenge, and it is Joel's week. Joel defending champion Joel.
Ooh,
coming at us again with what I'm assuming is a Dave Matthews Bubbles.
I'm outside of my norm on this one. This is not owned or represented by anybody. This is just a good bottle of bubbles.
Oh, you're straying away from your tried and true operation from last time?
He's done me well, but I think I need to go out from under Dave's wing and explore elsewhere. So that's what I'm doing this week.
I like this conversation because it sounds like Joel has only ever brought on Dave Matthews wine. Like the entire 2.5-3 years we've been doing that. Only Dave Matthews wines from Joel.
For those coming on the show,
time listening, that is what I do. I have run through the entire catalog now on 130
wildly
down the
deep,
line. So
shockingly deep catalog of Dave Matthews wine.
The man makes a good wine. I don't know. Yeah.
So excitingly, Joel, for the first time ever, stepping away from Dave Matthews Wine and bringing something new to the table today. Joel, what are you blessing us with today in your defense of the crown?
Yes. So I'm very excited about this one. Today, I have brought to the table the Raventós Blanc de Blanc. So this is from the region of Conca del Rio Anoia, Spain. And this is a blend of 50% Varelo, 30% Macabeu, 15% Parellada, and 5% Malvasia de Sitges. So some
those are words.
Grapes in there that I had to quickly research the pronunciation of in there. I'm pretty proud of myself there. This is a 2023 vintage, ABV of 12%, which again, love that number. And we picked this up for somewhere between, little varying depending on where we are, but somewhere between $20 and $25.
You know, I'll give you some early points on this one, Joel. I don't like giving you points because I'm competing against you, but this was $5 less expensive for me. Than for you guys. I don't know why. Normally I have the northern tax, but it was only $19.99 for me. I think
that's crazy.
$26 for you, but $20 for me is a great deal. So I'll give you a little bonus for that. So thank you.
I'll take it,
sir.
Starting with a little edge in your scorebook is always welcome. That's awesome. But no, this $20, $25. I think historically, a very nice, very kind of sweet, spotty place when we're looking for good value. So again, I'm feeling all right today, guys.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get right into it and see if that $20 to $25 range, especially talking about a Cava. And folks that have been listening to our show for a while know we love a Cava on the show, and we know it's a great value.
It's not a Cava though. Let's keep that in mind. It is close to a Cava, made in the same region as a Cava, but as we'll find out.
Yes,
and as we mentioned in the cold open, this is not a Cava.
Oh, see, I wasn't listening to what Joel was saying.
I'm so excited. What else is new?
And I feel like, and Dr. Coleman taught us all about this a while back, right? So this is that whole realm. So, all right, we'll get into this in the a little more in the learning segment. But we know this is a great value region in general.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well done.
But let's start off and let's just get first sips. So let's take a sip, gentlemen, and let's just get the first word, single word. Don't do the weird thing where you say first word and then you say 8 words. One word. One word that comes to mind.
I feel like that was pointed directly at me. And
me.
But I want you to know I hear you.
Colin, first word.
I'm going to go vibrant. It's the first thing that comes to mind after a sip.
I like that. I'm going to give you 2, and I'm just going to say traditional method, baby. Okay, 3.
Yep.
Bitch.
He was just making a point, though. So he didn't need the baby, but I will have to let it slide.
It just felt appropriate.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. Bubbles.
I'll take that too.
All right. Cool. So we got vibrant, traditional method, baby, and bubbles. So 5 words from the 3 of us. Fantastic. All right.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah. Not bad. It could have been way worse. All right. So before we get into our more in-depth explanation of why we are thinking what we're thinking and our bigger analysis, Joel, why did you pick this one?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. As soon as Colin came up with this idea last month, my brain went right to this bottle of wine. This is actually one that I have enjoyed on many occasions when I was kind of starting to get into, nice bubbles and really kind of trying to learn my way around the different methods and all that. But really knowing that I did like that traditional method and I loved, champagne, but wanting to find some more reasonable ways to get into it, to have that same kind of taste, to enjoy that kind of elegance. And Raventós was one of my go-tos. So in a way, I feel like I'm cheating a little bit because this is the first time I've come here kind of knowing exactly what I'm bringing to the table and feeling pretty darn confident, but I'm really excited to share this with you guys.
Yeah, dude, what's funny? I actually tried this wine 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago now. It was when I was still writing the blog. So who knows how long that was. And I didn't really like it. So when you said this is where you were going, I was like, oh boy, he's super confident. But, based on my previous experience, I wasn't as confident as you were. So it was
ready to bring the hammer
to see how this one, it could have been a vintage thing. Who knows? I could have been in a bad mood. I don't know. But my experience was not as positive with my initial try as maybe yours, Joel. So
okay. Yeah. Listen, that's cool. I feel a little bit more nervous, but still feel pretty good.
Ominous.
Yeah, I know. You're a tough nut to crack over there, Colin.
No, Colin. Listen, that is nothing on this bottle. I just, in the past, I haven't enjoyed this as much as maybe others.
Fair, but I appreciate you coming to this with an open mind, an open heart, and giving it another clear chance. Another good try. So I know this about you. Thank you.
Yep. For sure.
All right. Well, that seems like a great pivot into giving this wine a fair shake. And let's dive into it. Let's break it down and let's see what it's given us. So let's not only start by getting on the nose, but let's take a look at it too, because my word was bubbles. And I do want to say, especially, with some of the sparkling wines we've looked at recently, we've talked about the different methods. This is a tiny bubble wine, right? Like we got lots of tiny bubbles going. I love it.
It sure is.
I love it.
Which played into what Joel said too, traditional method, right? This is a traditional method sparkler that you expect to see. They're very fun, very fancy bubbles.
And just the exact, we don't talk about it a lot, but just that beautiful golden hue, it's got that look. Like you look at this and you're like, yeah, this is going to be a nice traditional experience here.
Let's stick our nose near these tiny bubbles and see what's going on there. Joel, this is your absolute favorite wine on the planet. What do you get on your nose?
Yeah, I just got a little wine on my nose because, again, I'm using a little coupe here, but...
Do this to yourself.
I appreciate that you stick with the bit.
Absolute dedication.
It's not a bit. This is just me being me. Get over it. What am I getting on this? I'll tell you what I'm getting. Some breadiness, some toastiness is probably the biggest thing that's kicking out to me here. And that's it because I'm smelling from a coupe.
It's like, I have to dry off my nose. I mean, it's definitely very light. It's a very light aromatic. Like I'm really digging in there, and like maybe allergy season's kicking up, but like I'm not getting much on the nose. But like a little citrus, definitely a little bit of the brightness that you're noting. But I am struggling to pull much more than that. Colin, what's your level 2 nose getting?
Yeah, definitely some citrus is a great call. There's a little bit of minerality on there. Some like stoniness, which is pretty cool. Breadiness for sure. And I think too, with that breadiness, kind of that sweet cream vibe too has become my new favorite traditional method sparkling wine note.
I like that.
We first talked about this with Natalie, and since then, it's like a note that sticks out so much to me. So she really hammered that home with me, which was really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm getting a little
and
bit
that
of
was
that
such a
in there
great
as well.
wine with such a great producer. And wines by that producer are really
It
solid.
was fine wine. Yeah, it was good. It's good wine.
Yeah. I can't wait to try wine from that producer again.
Okay. All right. Well,
Nice little
if you
plug
want to
right
know
there.
what's
That
going on,
worked
listener,
perfectly.
Aaron's wine is from the same producer of the wine that we had back then.
Tune in next week.
You just got a perfect plug for yours. That was pretty
Look at that.
perfect.
Seamless. All right. Anything else coming out of the nose, gentlemen? I think that was pretty good. I mean, but Colin, would you?
Yeah.
I mean, you pulled out like 3 or 4 different things, which I all agree with. Would you agree it is on the lighter end of the aromatic spectrum, or am I just not digging hard enough?
No, I don't disagree with that. It's not terribly aromatic. You do have to stick your nose in there, but when you do, you can start really picking stuff out. Like this is one where you really have to get in there. But yeah, so I would totally agree with that.
I would argue not atypical for bubbles.
Sure.
Like I don't think they're typically the most expressive on the nose. It's all about
stinky bubbles out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I guess it depends. Like I've had some like super expressive champagnes where you can just kind of smell the breadiness from a mile away. But you're right. Maybe in general, it's probably solid.
I'm just defending
generalization.
my wine a little bit. You know?
Yeah, you don't have to defend it.
Okay. Very nervous.
All right. Let's move on to the most important part of wine: drinking it.
Yes.
And being around friends. Colin, I'll go to you first, man. What are you getting on the palate there?
My first reaction was vibrant because I think the mixture of the acidity and the bubbles and the citrus really make this an exciting sip on the palate. It really just kind of bursts into your mouth. You know, it's a really enjoyable first sip, even before you get into the flavors. Just that vibrancy of the sip is really enjoyable. There's a lot going on just from the physical perspective. But other than that, I think we kind of nailed the flavors. You know, there's not a ton going on, but what's going on is really nice. I think the citrus, a little bit of that breadiness, the minerality, I think it all shows up.
Yeah, and especially that minerality part really, really coming through here. A very cool, like bigger aspect of the sip than I was sort of expecting as I'm sitting here analyzing it, right? Like love that part of it. And then just like you're saying, what's really, really stand out here to me too is just the mouthfeel, just the experience. Like it is an elegant experience as you're drinking the wine. We talked about the tiny bubbles. They are dancing. It is lively in a really nice way. And that acidity that you talked about too, really important to talk about here too, because man, that combined with the effervescence of the bubbles is a really cool. I'm going to say lively again. Sorry, I need to expand my wine vocabulary here, but it's just so lively. It's so fun.
It is. Fun's a great word. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. This is not a shot at all, but like there's kind of like this neutrality and like balance of it where it's like you have the minerality of it and there's a little bit of the citrus. But like you both said, like I'm just repeating it, like the show is the bubbles and the experience and the lightness of it more so than a lot of the flavor profile. And I kind of just imagine this as like
that's fair,
a glass that I want to be handed as I enter an event, right? Like I'm just imagining this as like as I'm walking into a wedding, as I'm walking into an event, like this is kind of the thing I want handed to me at the beginning of a night, because it is kind of a blank canvas. Again, I mean this 100% in a positive way, as like something that just feels nice and fun and light and isn't going to clash. It's not going to upset anyone in any direction either. It just is fun.
I don't disagree with you on that, Aaron. I see what you're saying, and I see that you're saying that in a positive way, and I 100% agree. There's not anything I think that's going to like pull somebody out of this and be like, oh, this is too much of this or too little of that. But I think one thing that we need to talk about too that we haven't really is there is a breadiness, like a brioche toastiness here too, that, I think we need to talk about it for two reasons. Number one, it's like, it's there in a really nice supporting way. It's not in the way. It's just there in a nice way. And number two, it's a flavor profile that I think you only get from a really well-made sparkling wine that has been aged well and made in a quality manner. So like it's still in that scenario of, the wedding, you're walking in, you want to have a good time. It's nice. The person who's looking for a nice bubble will also, I think, be pleasantly surprised by this
100.
because there's those elements as well.
I agree. And this is a traditional method sparkling wine, so that's where you're going to find that bready note. You won't find it in tank method. But the one other thing I wanted to point out on this wine is the finish. And the finish, for as unexpressive as this wine is on the nose and the palate, the finish is really nice and it lasts for a really long time. The finish is actually the most complex part about this wine. It lingers for a really long time, and it kind of goes through the entire flavor profile after you're done sipping. Like you get that breadiness, but you also get the citrus, and then it kind of tails off with a nice minerality. So, like this is another one where if they're able to harness that finish and smash it into the sip, not to get too into the review, but this could have been absolutely special, So it's interesting that the finish is so much more expressive, in my opinion, than the palate.
All right, guys, I think we have broken down this wine as much as we can for now. We will revisit it, one more time before we give our final thoughts. In the meantime, let's learn a little something. All right, let's get into our wine drops. A little drop of knowledge happening right now. So this is a sparkling wine from Spain. Once again, naming, just side note, because this was something for me when I learned something new, and I know we always have new listeners. Sparkling wine from different regions have different names. Sparkling wine from Spain is called Cava, usually. We're going to just mess that up immediately right now when we talk about this, because, Colin, is this Cava?
Well, it could be a Cava. It could be a Cava. But what the producer decided to do is step away from the Cava designation entirely and create their own smaller region, which, as we mentioned, is Conca del Rio Anoia. And the reason that they wanted to do this is control. They wanted stricter rules around farming, lower yields, and a focus on indigenous grapes, which are the ones that they use in this blend, mainly Xarello, Macabeo, and Perellada.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important thing to think about when we're talking about this wine. And I'm going to be honest with you too. Before I chose the Raventós here, my mind first went to the Corpinat. You remember we had a Corpinat with Dr. Coleman a year or so back.
That
Blew our
one was
minds. It was
incredible.
amazing.
It was great.
Yeah, totally. But I feel like it's a kind of a similar thing that they're trying to do here. Cava had kind of developed this reputation of being good, affordable, predictable maybe, but generically good. And seems like, this group and the Corpinat group, they're trying to say, no, we want to be very intentional about making, an elevated, more complex wine very related to a Cava, but its own thing.
So this isn't just Cava, but better. It's not trying to be Cava at all. It's the same idea. It's just a completely different goal, and it's more control and a higher quality. And I think it's just shooting higher.
So if they're stepping out of Cava, then the obvious question is why? What is it about this place that made them want to drop the Cava designation?
I mean, this is where it gets really cool. So these areas have limestone-rich soils. Even some of the plots have like marine fossils in them. So, thinking about those
cool.
areas that, used to be underwater and, all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
But, what they tend to do is it gives that wine that subtle mineral and almost like salty edge to it. And on top of that, you got that Mediterranean climate. So the grapes get ripe, but not too heavy. And then you end up with like that balance of freshness, but also flavor.
It's the Mediterranean, baby. Isn't that so cool that under these grapes, there's marine fossils? Like,
yeah.
That's so wild. And that aspect that you're talking about too, the ripe but not heavy, the balance, that is the key. We got to talk about that with this wine. It's intentional. It's not meant to be rich and creamy. No, this is meant to be bright, citrus, herbs, all the things that we called out. It's not about weight and heaviness. It's about lifted and clarity. Like that's what they're going for here.
Yeah, which is why they wanted to be so specific with the region and not call it a Cava, because the region and the land are really what's driving this wine, even before the grapes make it into the winery.
Right. And so then we have to think about the process overall, right? So we already kind of, like Joel mentioned this earlier, we are talking about traditional method wine, which is, again, a lot of you know this, but for our newer listeners or the folks learning along with me, that is the same as champagne, which means secondary fermentation is happening inside of the bottle itself.
Yeah, and I keep going back to this whole idea of, intention with this bottle of wine, but it's glaring in so many areas here. We talked about the breadiness. This is something that's obviously, again, in that traditional method, aged for at least 18 months. This is not a shortcut. This is not we're trying to do something completely different. This is we're going to do it the right way and make a good sparkling wine.
Exactly. And this is also labeled extra brut, which means there's very low sugar. So they're not using sweetness to round anything out. They're leaning into that natural acidity and the shape that the region gives the wine.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is like really, really cool. And this is exactly, I think, what was popping out to me earlier when I was like talking about like neutrality but as a positive thing, it's just incredibly clean and incredibly dry and incredibly focused. And it's like just straight to the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's start putting a bow on this here too for a second. Okay. We're talking about Spanish wine, more specifically Spanish bubbles. So if somebody is opening this bottle and they're thinking, I know Spanish wine, this is going to be, it's going to be nice, but it's going to be easy. It's going to be simple. What should somebody who's opening this bottle really be paying attention to?
Yeah. And it's the first thing we called out. It's the overall feel, right? It's going to be light. It's going to be bubbly. It's going to be refreshing. And then as far as flavor is concerned, you're looking at the citrus. You're looking at maybe some herbal notes, some subtle minerality, maybe a little salty finish in there as well. All kind of stuff that we've been getting with the minerality. So I think this almost exemplifies the flavor profile of a wine from this region.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we talked about this. It is light. It is bubbly. It is lean. It is fun. We've talked about wines in the past that are drinkers, not thinkers. Like, this is not that. There is stuff to dig into here.
Yeah.
Colin talked about the finish earlier, and that breadiness that's going on there. And I think that's a really prime example of what this kind of wine brings that separates this from a lot of other sparkling. So just like, exciting, light, bright, but also has like a lot of personality behind it.
I think what we're circling around here is this is its own thing. Obviously, heavily inspired by the traditional method, following the traditional method itself in the process of producing it. But I mean, just because it's Spanish wine doesn't mean that it's Cava. This is its own thing, a mix of tradition and something new and something really cool.
Yeah, I think what's cool about this wine and what separates it from other Cavas is the refinement, right? I think there's a certain level of finesse that this wine has that some of the Cavas, especially at the cheaper end, don't have. So, and I think you see that with how much that the winemaker cares about the land and even getting rid of that Cava designation. They did it for a reason, and I think they're kind of nailing the reasons that they did that. So super cool
Agreed.
to try this bottle of wine from this region.
Thank you so much, Joe, for grabbing this. We are going to move into our reviews in just a second. Before we do, I'm going to give our listeners a quick reminder on how we review wine on the show. We do it a little differently than the other experts out there who use numbers. We don't believe in numbers on the show. We believe in vibes. For us, we label wines different tiers. Must-share wines are exceptionally good bottles of wines that have something a little extra special that deserve to be shared. Solid pours are really good wines with really good value. Casual sippers are enjoyable, but not necessarily memorable wines. Wines that are overvalued, low quality, or undrinkable are wastes of your wine. And of course, if we find just incredibly good wines, each of us have our wine fridge that we can put our 3 favorite wines of the year in. I think each of us have one bottle of wine.
One right now.
Yep. At this point. So very exciting stuff. Maybe there's another one coming out today. Who knows?
Wow.
But let's get into it. Joel, this is your wine, so you will go last. Colin, I'm gonna poke you to go first. How How are you feeling about this wine? And is there any last thoughts you have before you put your final stamp on it?
Yeah, I don't think this wine has changed any since we've been talking about it. I mean, it's kind of doing what it's doing. So no,
Still bubbling.
still very bubbly. I don't even have mine on ice or anything. So mine's just like open over here. And I will say the consistency of the bubbles has been very nice. I will say I don't know what happened to the bottle I tried 4 or 5 years ago, but this is way better than that. So I'm not sure what that was. Maybe just a bad bottle, but this is so much better. And God, I am right on the edge. I so desperately want to put this in the must share category because there's so many reasons why it deserves to be there. And honestly, if we're just rating the finish, it's a must share finish in a solid pour wine. So I think because the finish is just fantastic. It's complex, it's interesting, it lasts a really long time. But the wine doesn't have any of that. It has all the flavors. They're not gone immediately, but they don't linger for as long as the finish does. So the sip is nice, the finish is excellent. It's a really enjoyable sparkling wine. Like you guys said earlier, I think this is one you could just pour for a ton of people at a party, and it's just going to be really enjoyable for a lot of people. I'm going to put it in the solid pour only because it's missing a little bit on the front and the mid palate to really put it into the must share category. But it's a great bottle of wine and a great value at $25. Absolutely one I would pick up again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, Colin. I think solid pour is a great label. Like, I think I'm really glad that we made that name, because I think that should pick up a vast majority of the wines that we pick. I think this is a solid pour. Like, I'm enjoying the heck out of this wine, and most of it is gone. Now, most of it is in me. It is just a very
weird way to say that.
So weird.
But it is. No, it is good. It is just really, really easy to drink. It is, and for me, especially at $20, this is 100% a bottle of wine that I would grab to start an evening with, and I would pour. I think, like Colin said, I think the thing I'm missing is that kind of that showstopper thing that just that extra piece of like the thing I'm really showing off about this. But outside of that, like, I think it's just a really excellent bottle of wine. It's something that I would 100% grab to have at any party as like a lineup of sparkling wines. So I just think it's an absolute solid pour. Joel?
I love where you guys are at. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping that one of you would be just enough tipped into the must share category on these because, we define a must share as wines that are exceptionally good bottles. And I think what's exceptional about this bottle of wine is how it does find that balance between everything we just talked about, something very cool and light and refreshing and of its own, but still has that traditional, feeling to it, that elegance, like the thing that people go to Champagne for. A lot of that is right here. So definitely. I think that is an exceptional piece of it. So this wine certainly has exceptional qualities. And this is probably the closest like solid pour to a must share that I think I've ever had. But I'm going to go with you guys. I think this is a super solid pour, and like that is to be celebrated on its own. And I can kind of see, where, if there was a little tweak here, a little tweak there, this would be an absolute must share. $20 to $25. I mean, come on. That's crazy. For this quality. But it just might be just a little bit of that wow factor that might be missing. But other than that, gosh, this is such a good bottle of wine. And I think it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to be really, really good. It's meant to be enjoyable. It's meant to be elegant. It's meant to be reminiscent of that traditional method bottle of wine and be consistent every single time. And it's doing all of that. Solid pour.
For sure. I hesitate to bring up the Porch Pounder situation because I think this is a little bit nicer than a Porch Pounder, but God damn it, I'm just pounding this. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm just pounding the hell out of it. So I think it's a little bit elevated from what we would usually consider a Porch Pounder.
Yeah.
100% poundable.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. I am,
it's like a classy Porch Pounder.
It is a classy porch pounder.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what it is.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Fantastic. All right. Before we move on, before we end this episode, let's play a game. All right, gentlemen. We are going to end today with a game that we love called Pick Your Poison, where I'm going to give you 2 weird wine situations, and you got to tell me which one you would rather deal with. Now, we have a very important one today because it is timely. It is kind of based in real life, but also not at all. So here's a scenario I'm going to put in front of you.
My favorite kind.
You are trapped on a desert island. Here's the not at all part. You are trapped on a desert island. You don't know how long you're going to be there, but incredibly, 2, airplane crates have smashed into the ocean on either side, equidistant to the island. They are sinking rapidly. You only have time to swim out to one. Now, incredibly, you know what's in both of these. I don't know why. Don't ask me.
You were tipped off.
You were tipped off. You know what's in these crates. It's incredible.
It's a FedEx flight. You have the manifesto. You quickly reference the serial numbers. You see what it is.
Amazing. You know you're going to be on this island for a while, and you have to make a decision. In one crate is 100 bottles of the wine that we drink this evening. In the other crate is the recently auctioned off 1945 Domaine Romanée Conti Burgundy that sold for $812,500. Most expensive bottle of wine ever sold that might not even be drinkable.
That's crazy.
That's
real life,
true. That's an
people.
old bottle of wine. Yeah,
That's in the other crate. So you can either swim out to that crate and get that one bottle of wine, or you can swim to the other crate and get 100 bottles of our Raventós sparkling that we drank tonight. Sold between $19.99 and $25. Pick your poison. Which one are you swimming to, gentlemen?
Yeah, this one's easy for me. I'm taking the DRC. It might not be drinkable, but at the very least, I get to die on that private island by myself, knowing I got to try a $800,000 bottle of wine.
Grasping if you get saved, you can buy a house.
No, I'm drinking.
Oh, you're drinking that bad boy?
Private island, a deserted island. Sorry, not a private island.
You're pouring that potentially oxidized, corked ass wine down your throat.
And I figured if I'm drinking $800,000 wine, I'd be on a private island, which is where the confusion was.
I mean,
there.
it is private. It is very private. It's like super private.
Yeah, I know. I should probably
too private.
The crate with the 100 bottles, but I'm taking the DRC.
Wow. Okay, Joel, what about you?
Bring me the Raventós, baby. Nobody cares that it's $800,000. This might be my last, couple of bottles that I'm drinking. I'm going for longevity here. I'm going for just enjoyment. I'm going to have a great couple of weeks drinking these bottles of wine. It'll keep me going, and I know I'm going to have a great time. And to your point, Aaron, like you teed it up, we don't even know if this thing is still going to be good. Okay? Could you imagine if you swam for that one bottle of wine, Colin, and it was totally just corked and gone and bad?
He'd never admit it.
Yeah.
He'd never be.
But if you get rescued, you get to be the guy who drank the $800,000 bottle of wine. So who cares what it tastes like?
No, I'm going for the I'm a simple man. I'm going for the 100 bottles of wine because I am planning for longevity and hydration. I'm surrounded by salt water. I'm a survivalist. I'm staying hydrated on the 100 bottles of wine. Colin, I am disappointed in you, sir. You're just going to be sitting there and sipping on one bottle of wine. I'm gonna miss you.
It might be the single greatest bottle of wine anybody's ever had in the world, and I'm willing to take that chance.
For
it might
one day.
That's fine.
Of your attempts at starting a fire will be accompanied by this great wine. We've got 100 days of figuring it out and having a good time.
And you know what?
Yeah.
No matter what, we are going to be told that bottle is the greatest bottle of wine anyone's ever tasted. If the person that bought that wine tastes it, no matter what anybody asks,
But I didn't.
That
I didn't
person
buy
is
it.
going
I found
to
it in
say,
the ocean.
Yeah, but
So it doesn't matter to me. I'll tell you if it's bad or not.
a helicopter comes down and they're like, "How was that bottle of wine?" You're gonna be like, "Wasn't great, man. Get me out
It
of
was
here."
garbage.
It's not
It was
for me.
ruined.
Some people might like it. It's not for
Don't
me.
finish it. I'm leaving the rest here.
I'd be honest.
You would. I can't wait to read that review. All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Given the opportunity, Jill and I are going for the 100 bottles of Raventós, and Colin on an island is still his bougiest self and going for the $800,000
Damn right.
bottle of wine. And you know what? Damn right.
Every day.
Damn right. Be proud with that, man. Good for you.
I am.
Good for you.
Wouldn't change my answer for the world.
And man, and just off the island for a minute, $800,000. Can you believe it, Colin? You're the res expert. Can you believe that? Would you ever? Did you expect
That's insane. No, there is no. Realistically, there's no wine worth $800,000. I can't imagine any sip of anything bringing you $800,000 worth of pleasure. Like it just doesn't. Like the math doesn't math, in my opinion. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds of it being drinkable are?
Depends upon how it was stored. I honestly don't know where it came from. If it was stored appropriately, it might be good to go. But I don't really know.
I'm going to be following the story closely. If they ever open it, I mean, if I'm that guy, I'm probably just putting it on a shelf, and
Oh, I'm drinking it immediately.
that.
If I'm
You
spending
think so?
$800,000 on one bottle of wine, I might drink it before it leaves the auction house. Yeah.
What kind of rich am I?
gosh.
Am I rich or am I rich? I don't know. Just find out.
Yeah, well, if you're buying $800,000 bottle
Yeah.
of wine,
You rich.
probably got some expendable cash.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. All right, gentlemen, we moved through a lot of topics today. I am very proud of us. All right. But hey, the most important topic today is, Joel, well done.
Thank you.
I think a solid,
Very
candidate, following up
Mhm.
on your recent, championship. So we'll see how you do. I have my contender next week. So folks, tune back in for hopefully my redemption episode, because I haven't had a redemption episode yet. And
You haven't done poorly.
I
You just
just
haven't done. You just haven't won
done
yet.
well.
No, you've done well. You just haven't done the best. So you're doing fine. We'll see how next week.
I'm doing.
runs.
I'm still making up for the Forbidden Kiss. This is
You
still
are.
my redemption tour.
Joel's got a giant hole to dig himself in.
Yeah.
You owe us. And you know what? Between
We're getting
last time and this time, you're doing great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's right.
Well done. Colin, can you, if our listeners still want to engage with us after this and want to keep, listening to us talk and drink, how would they do so?
Sure. Yeah, check us out on Instagram. If you want to email us, cheers at Stop Wasting Your Wine. Check us out over on YouTube. And that's really it. Those are the best places to find us.
Fantastic. Folks, we'll see you next week.
And remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.